Welcome. How is everybody doing today? My name is Jamie. You guys likely know me as Mystic Mac, DFS, across some of the Reddit platforms and the Reddit communities. Hope everyone is doing well today. Hope everyone got a look over the running back video I posted earlier today, the quarterback video I went through yesterday, and so now it's time for the wide receivers. You guys know the drill. This is going to be a short, hopefully 12-minute video is what it's kind of been looking like lately. We're just going to go over 3 wide receiver plays that I have a good amount of interest in going in this week. Obviously, I'm going to have interest in a lot more guys, but these are 3 guys that I'm definitely going to want to prioritize in my lineups this week. We're just going to go through kind of some advanced metrics and a few reasons why I like these guys. And then after that, like I mentioned in the previous video, I'm going to do a final look video tonight where I'm going to build some lineups with you guys, kind of go over some of my favorite plays, some of my favorite stacks, some GPP strategies that I'm kind of thinking about implementing this week, and just a few of my overall thoughts on the slate. So let's dive straight into these wide receivers. So you guys know, you guys are looking at my player dashboard sheets, which is a part of my exclusive content that I have over on Patreon. The first guy that I want to mention, I really want to talk about, is going to be Joe Horn Jr. So, Joe Horn, the reason that we like Joe Horn, first off, the Guardians are right now 7-point underdogs. This is going to be updated here tonight once I go through all of my final videos and my final updates. This dashboard page is going to get updated with their current odds because they're always going to be moving. But right now they're sitting at 7-point underdogs. This is good to see because last week Matt McGloin and these New York Guardians weren't forced to throw a lot, so it's nice to be able to get them in a situation where perhaps they're forced to kind of chuck the ball 35, 40 times a game. Most importantly with Joe Horn, what we like is that he is only 3,400 here, as you can see. And so if you kind of look at a few of his other wide receivers here, so let's just kind of Mikael McKay, 10.2K, right? He's the second highest price guy on the entire slate. Now, if we can kind of come down here, Colby Pearson is going to be somewhere down here. Boom. He got his price increase to 7.2K. Now, I think that's fine, right? He saw 4 catches last week. Let's kind of go look at, already on that page, perfect. So you can see here he had 4 targets. Kind of about just short of 14% of the team's target share. He only caught 2 of those balls, but he did catch a touchdown, which is why he had that price increase. Mikael McKay, like we mentioned, at 10.2K, 4 targets, again, just under 14%, caught 3 balls for 58 yards, right? But Joe Horn, as we mentioned, was only 3.4K. And we can look here, he saw 8 targets. He saw over 27% of the team's target share, but he only caught 2 of those for 27 yards. And I think that's going to be something that a lot of people are going to look at and maybe not have as much interest in. I've been noticing he's been kind of talked up around the community this weekend, so perhaps he's not going to be overlooked. But as far as a cash game staple, I think he's going to be a lock for me in my cash games. And since this is a game that I do have a lot of interest in, I'm definitely going to have him in my tournaments as well. It would be nice to get a better gauge on ownership, but so from some of the stuff I've been reading and some of the stuff that I've been listening to, he has been mentioned. So we're going to have to kind of wait and see on that. But he's a guy that I am, like I said, going to have a lot of interest in. He played 100% of his snaps in the slot. And so he only played 78% of the team snaps, which is still solid. But it's actually 4th on the team behind Mikael McKay, Pearson, and Powell, who all played 90% or above of the team's offensive snaps. However, we like Joe Horn because he actually, played ran a route on 75% of his snaps, which is the most out of all of those guys. So when he's on the field, he's being very effective and he's being used. He actually saw a target on the very first 3 opening possession of the game. He saw 3 targets, which is very nice to see that they're trying to get him involved early. And that's just a price that we're just going to want. 3.4K is just too cheap. So the next guy I want to talk about is Jalen Tolliver. So we can see here, Jalen Tolliver's 3.9K. He saw 8 targets and caught 3 of those for 47 yards last week. What we like about Jalen Tolliver is that, one, he has 3.9K. Two, he saw a good amount of target share. But this is going to be an offense that we're going to want to target a lot, like I mentioned last week. That last week we saw Dan Williams, Jalen Tolliver, all in Reese Horn, all under 4K. We still have Reese Horn at 3.8K. He didn't do much last week. He saw 5 targets. Jalen Tolliver's 3.9K. And Dan Williams got that big increase because he saw 9 targets for 123 yards. And I think Jalen Tolliver not getting a price increase after seeing 8 targets is a mistake. I think that's something that we're going to want to take advantage on. I think it is important to note that Aaron Murray is going to be out. He did not look good. He did not look good his previous season in the American Alliance or the Alliance Football League. So that's definitely something to note as well. It looks like right now it's going to be between Quentin Flowers and Cornelius, and I think they're going to be running them both out. So it's kind of a murky situation, but I like the price tag for Tolliver. I like that a lot. 3.9K is just too cheap for a guy that's going to see 8 targets a game, and he's going to be running a route on a good percentage of his plays, similar to Joe Horn, where Joe Horn ran a route on 75% of his plays. Or 75, Jalen Tolliver did lead his team with 60% of his routes ran on per snaps, so that's really solid to see as well. I really think Jalen Tolliver is going to be the way to go. He played 97% of the team snaps, and this team really seems like after 1 week they have a very narrow target tree. Daniel Williams, Jalen Tolliver, and Nick Truesdale all played 95% of the snaps or more, and not one other skill position player played more than 70%. So he's going to be out on the field a lot, and the guy at that price tag is just someone we're going to have a lot of interest in. So the next guy I want to talk about, we mentioned him before. Last week he didn't do much. He saw 7 targets, but he only caught 2 of those for 5 yards. Now, I think a lot of people are going to see that he only had 5 yards off 2 catches and not have very much interest. He did get a little bit of a price decrease. He's 6.3K, so he's not super cheap by any stretch of the imagination, but I really think he's going to go massively overlooked. And what we really like is that he actually led his team in snap percentage with 94%. And Austin Prohl, who actually caught the very first touchdown in the XFL, who I think is going to go way, way over owned, and he got a massive price increase at 9.2K here. He actually only played 69% of the snaps. Not one other skill position player for Seattle played more than 70% of the snaps, outside of Keenan Reynolds, like I said, who played 94% of the team snaps. So he's out on the field a ton. He got targeted 7 times last week, and I think that's going to be the same. Brendan Silvers isn't a guy I have a lot of interest in, and overall this team isn't a team I'm going to want to pick on a lot. But I will absolutely have a few tournament shares of Keenan Reynolds this week. Another note for Keenan Reynolds is he actually did see 2 deep targets. He didn't come down with any of them. But that is nice to see that he is being targeted deep. And Brendan Silvers came in second with 7 deep pass attempts last week. However, he was forced to do that because they were kind of playing from behind. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of turns out this week. But as of now, that's going to kind of do it, guys. We have Joe Horn, Jalen Tolliver, and Keenan Reynolds as guys that I'm going to kind of key in on this week. I hope you guys found this interesting. I'm going to have that final look video out to you tonight, and we're going to break down some lineups to see if we can't figure out some winning lineups and some winning stacks. I hope everybody has a very good day. I would appreciate that if you guys would give this video a like, subscribe. It helps me a lot. I'm trying to do this more often just so I can get a little bit more comfortable with this whole thing. It's still a little weird for me, so I'm adjusting to it. So I hope you guys appreciate it. I've got a lot of good responses, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. I will see you later. Bye.